Man, I feel like you're turning the whole card, bro. There's got like a lot of people on the card.
A lot of pressure, man. A lot of pressure. It's all good though. Nothing we're not used to.
Yeah, I mean,
you got
exciting,
yeah.
You know, you got Hirota. You know, she looks great, man. Very classic, very you know, kind of like that Japanese style, right? Like they're always in the right place, kind of, you know, like never.
Very technical, very, you know, just great boxing.
I feel like just to talk about her improvement.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, getting her to sit on their punches a little more, go to the body, you know, Mexican style boxing, and trying to be more aggressive, but at the same time, not to forget her roots. What got her here, which is her skills, you know, boxing.
Do her and Lupita get a lot of rounds in?
Yeah, you know, we got a bunch of girls at the gym right now. I've never saw myself training so many women, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to be careful what you know, what God has planned for you, right? And anyway, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun, and you know, this is Mizuki's 4th title defense. We got the mandatory. It's a tough fight, but hopefully we'll get it done.
Speaking of tough fights, obviously the main event, Sergey Boychuk. It's not easy to opponent Atlanta Fox. You know, has the Atlanta height, the guy who boxes and uses the the ring size. Yeah. What does Sergey need to do tomorrow night to come out victorious?
Sergey needs to be Sergey. He needs to be himself, you know, and cut off the ring, obviously, and then be overwhelmed. There's no secret. Try to overwhelm Michael and cut off the ring and press the fight. And just wear him down, you know, go to the body and just, you know, take it one round at a time and hopefully get the start. It's never been stopped, so hopefully we can be the first.
Yeah, Sergey, obviously, you just like fight fans want to see that rematch against Virgil Ortiz, you know.
Right.
And not so many people, he beat Virgil. You know, how eager are you guys, for you guys to get that rematch at some point, or has there even any talks?
No, you know, at this point, Sergey's a mandatory. He's the #1 contender to the WBC. He's highly ranked in all the other sanctioning bodies, and we're just waiting for our opportunity, whether it be obviously Virgil or any of the other champions. At this point, you know, we can't underestimate Michael. He's a great fighter. We're gonna have our hands full tomorrow night, and then after tomorrow night, then we can look forward to bigger and better things. But as of right now, we got Michael Fox in our mind, and that's all we can do.
Michael's very tall. Right. So when we talked to Sergey, he was kind of saying, you know, he's similar to Fandora, right? You know, with the height and the length and stuff. You know, you said you're #1 in WBC. Is that maybe obviously not looking past, you know, Michael, but I mean, with a victory tomorrow, is that, you know, like I know there's ways you can kind of push it, right, or whatever, you got to, like, I don't know, mandate it to the WBC, whatever it is, but is that like the goal for after this fight?
He is a mandatory to the WBC title, so obviously that makes sense. And just like you said, there's always a reason why we take these kind of fights. Why not Michael Fox? He's so tall. What if we get Fundora next, right? So we gotta, you know, not just prepare in the gym and with the sparring, but also in the fights. If we can get someone as high or as tall and lanky and that kind of reach, why not? Why not start now? And then, you know, obviously if we get the fight in the future, great. Well, you just never know.
What do you think of his fight with Tim Tszyu, the rematch, Fundora's fight?
I think Fundora's going to win. I think Fundora's going to knock him out, in my opinion. I don't take anything away from Tim Tszyu, but I don't feel like he. You saw what happened when he got stopped. I don't think he recovered from that war versus Fundora. And the best thing that Fundora did was take that time off, and look what he did in this comeback fight. And the worst mistake for Tim Tszyu was to fight someone like Bakram on a short period of time, and then look what happens. I mean, hey, listen, it's about making the right decisions, making the right choices, and once you get to a certain level, you got to be careful as far as who you fight and when you fight them, especially with Tszyu, and you take a fight like that right after a loss with Fundora. I mean, you guys might agree, you might not agree, but I wouldn't have taken that fight. I would have taken the easier route, maybe 1-2 fights, and then get back into the mix again. That's my opinion.
Speaking of knockouts, Coach Manny, obviously we haven't seen Canelo stop an opponent since he stopped Caleb Plant back in November 2021. Now they say that Crawford might be that next victim. Do you see that as a possible ending scenario between Crawford and Canelo come
as far as Crawford getting knocked out? No, I don't see him. I think he's too elusive, man. He's too sharp. He's too slick. He's too smart, man. I mean, he can use fight you from the orthodox style, from the southpaw stance, orthodox stance, and he's just a complete fighter, man. He's an incredible fighter. To me, he's probably one of the best fighters in the world. I understand that activity does matter, so that might come back and affect Crawford. But man, he's such a skillful fighter. Now, on the other hand, Canelo's been staying active, and he's a big boy, man. He's super middleweight. I mean, that's you gotta carry someone like that for 12 rounds. That's extremely difficult. So it's a 55. It's a toss-up. Skill for skill, I gotta give it to Crawford. I think everybody agrees. But as far as the strength and the weight, and obviously activity, that counts as well. So Canelo can give anybody a good fight.
Coach, obviously you have been to Saudi Arabia many times before.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying that was a factor for Canelo against Williams. He looked a little bit slow. Sometimes you just kind of tend to age overnight, or the fact that he was fighting at 6 in the morning. What are your thoughts on that performance? That it wasn't the best Canelo we've seen.
It's tough, and especially it's all about matchmaking. And I don't think I would have taken that fight. Versus a fighter like that doesn't fight, that just they really didn't take a chance. He didn't want to win that night. If he would have at least tried, but he didn't do that. And you give a fighter an opportunity like that to fight, someone like a fight of a lifetime to fight Canelo. I mean, I think the fans deserve more than that. I think they owe it to the fans to give us good fights, and that was a bad fight. That was a bad weekend of boxing overall, as you all know. I mean, everybody's been talking about it.
Still trying to recover from that.
It's hard to you know what I'm saying? Instead of gaining fans, we're losing fans, unfortunately. But it's fighters like Bohachuk, it's fighters like Virgil, Bakram, Tim Tszyu, Fundora. I mean, and I mention these fighters because it's a super welterweight division, and to me, it's one of the hottest weight classes in boxing right now. It's great. I mean, there's a lot of good, and these guys fight. These guys don't do a whole lot of talking. They fight. They show up. And some of these fighters, that's all they do is talking. All talking, no show,
My last one, Coach. It sounds like Manny Pacquiao's coming back at 46 years old to face Mario Barrios.
What do you want me to say about that?
I don't know.
Manny might make a comeback too, Coach Manny.
I don't know, man. I wish. Listen, I don't know. Pacquiao was an incredible fighter in his time. One of the best in the world. I mean, everybody loved Pacquiao. I don't care what part of the world you were from, man. We all love to see Pacquiao. Gave us some great fights. I have some great memories, especially with Juan Manuel Marquez. What can I say? For him to come back and fight again and fight for a world title, mind you. I mean, what does that say about boxing and the politics of boxing and the sanctioning bodies to allow a 46-year-old man coming out of retirement to come back and straight into a world title fight? I mean, what does that say? Come on. But hey, that's just my opinion. Nobody listens to me anyway. But yeah, I mean, I wish Pacquiao nothing but the best. He's gonna have his hands full. I hope. Hopefully, they give us a great fight. Hopefully, he shows up and still has 60% of what he once had, and I'm sure he'll give us a great fight. Barrios is a great fighter, great champion. I don't take anything away from Barrios. He's a fighter, and this is what they're throwing at. This is what they're throwing at him at this moment in time. And who doesn't want to fight Pacquiao, right? And he probably grew up watching Pacquiao, and now they got to fight. So hey, it is what it is.
Coach, last one for me. Being part of USA Boxing, were you familiar with Lamont Roach, and Tank when they were part of USA Olympic? And were you surprised of how good Lamont was able to neutralize?
I was super surprised.
Tank Davis?
I was super surprised, man. I mean, my son fought Tank back in the amateurs, man. They fought back in the Junior Olympic Nationals, and great fight. It's on YouTube. Go ahead and watch it. And that was a great fight. And I remember Tank back in the amateur days. Such a good fighter. Great fighter. We're talking about when he was 14, 15 years old. I was watching him fight. It's like, this kid's going to be a hell of a fighter, a great fighter in the pros. And that's what that's exactly what he turned out to be, man. One hell of a fighter, man. And for Lamont Roach to do what he did that night, I was like, he surprised us all. And in my opinion, obviously, if you count that as a knockdown, he wins that fight, and he deserves a rematch. Hopefully he gets it.
You know, it's talked about that rematch, you know, maybe happening or not, but if you were working Tank's corner, what do you think would be the victor to neutralize MANNY?
He's got to go back to his old ways, man. He's got to go back to what got him there. You know, because sometimes, you know, I mean, you make a lot of money, you're at the top of the game, and you tend to forget what got you to that position. He's got to go back to, you know, kind of like the Rocky movie, right? He's got to go back to what got you started, what got you to this place,
Start
what got you
chasing
to
some
this
chickens
moment,
and
man.
cutting wood in the
You know what I'm
snow,
saying?
yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, don't lose ground. Don't lose sight. You're not done. As long as you're still in the sport, you just gotta stay humble and surround yourself with good, positive people that want the best for you, and not a bunch of cheerleaders, but people that really. His coach has been there since day one, man, and I'm sure his coach has probably had a headache or two, you know, knowing that life, things have changed for Tank, but he's an incredible fighter, man. He's a humble kid, man. I've been around him after fights. We faced him in the pros, and he's a different person behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And he keeps it real, humble, respectful, and not forget that, you know what I mean? Stay humble and work hard, and just don't forget about what got you to where you are today.
You mentioned, just my last one, just because you brought it up, and I want to know, just what was kind of your first memory of Tank from the amateur days? Like, what was your first one? Like, was it you saw him, you heard about him, what was it?
Yeah. Hey, so listen, man. This is I'm gonna go back to the Junior Olympics. So he fought my son, and it was a very, very good fight, But then he fought Joel Gonzalez, and Joel Gonzalez beat him in the nationals. Yeah. Joel Gonzalez is a hell of a fighter too, mind you. And I remember he beat him in the Junior Olympic nationals in the finals. Like we lost him in the semis, and he beat Joel in the finals. And I believe that's how it went. But he beat Joel beat him in the finals, and great fight. But he fought some good Erickson Lubin and another great fighter back in the amateurs. You have a lot of good kids, man. A lot of good fighters today that moved on from the amateurs and became world champions, and they're still around. They're still doing their thing. And you would say boxing, man. It's just it's a great farm system to develop great fighters, great amateur fighters, and then eventually going pro, and then becoming world champions. And who they are today, we got superstars, and you know. A lot of times you show up to these type of events and the nationals, regionals, states, and whatnot, and you see these kids. You kind of like you watch them and say, man, this kid's special, man. He's gonna end up being something. And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But then again, Tank was one of those kids where like he always had fans and people behind him, even as an amateur. So. He's special.
So that was your first time when he fought your son? Was
yeah,
kind of the first
yeah,
time
kind of like the first time I saw him. Really, I had no idea who he was when they both stepped in the ring. We were in the East Coast, man, and we were in North Carolina, and a bunch of Tank Davis fans was like, man, shoot, this kid is, this kid's got a lot of pull, a lot of fans, and yeah, sure enough, great kid.
That's awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate your time, brother, as always.